Jai Shri Mataji, Edward.
Mataji.
Thank you so much for joining us again for part two of our interview. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. We see there's a beautiful meditation room, very artistic as would be expected from Leighton and your home. Um, so tell us about it and tell us what is it that you would share with us first and foremost. There's quite a few things that we have in store today. Um,
Yeah,
from memories, the presents that Shrimati gave you, the photos you have, even excerpts from diaries, because that would be phenomenal as well to relive those times. So over to you.
okay. Um, I think I'll start with this bowl behind me here. And Brigitte had sort of a miracle in her University of Art because well, she wasn't there very often. She went to Shudy camps in '87 to help do some of the work. We were both there. And then somehow she made her first Ganesha in 1988. That Ganesha went on the stage, several pujas, international pujas. And then I think the first one was the Ekadesha Rudra Puja in Austria. I went from there into the assistants room in the ceramic class. And one time the big professor came. He didn't show up very often, Italian guy. And the Ganesha was sitting there vibrating everyone. And he said, "Why doesn't Brigitte do her graduation at the end of the year?" Just out of the blue like this. So she ended up doing, she didn't know what to do. Like she ended up making that Ganesha because they were doing these sculpting people and she wasn't interested in that. She thought, why don't I make this Ganesha? And then at the end of the year, she couldn't figure out what to do for her diploma work. And she could just, the only thing she could think of was maybe some bowls for Shri Mataji's feet, Just typical yogi, just. And so she ended up making these beautiful bowls. There's a picture of them here.
Yes. Oh,
Um,
wow, beautiful.
yeah. So this is what she came up with, and
This
they
is
this
1997,
January 89,
1987,
89, like
and 1989. Wow.
beginning of 89. So and then Shri Mataji came at some point, and we had the president's suite in one of the oldest palace hotels in the city.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, the yogis or the leader decided that they would like to vibrate sugar and salt and kumkum and things. So they asked Brigitte for her bowls. So we have two, I don't know, I think she maybe sold the other two, but we have these two left. And this is one of them hanging now in our meditation room that Shri Mataji. This actually, we don't have a picture of her feet in it, but we have a picture of the salt or sugar with her feet prints in it. I couldn't find that photo now, but so this is
Wow,
one of many items we have in this tiny little room here.
that's
And
beautiful.
I think this is much in the future, but I'm sure everybody will recognize this.
Yes.
This is from the castle, the Hanuman.
Beautiful Sri Hanumana, yeah.
He's there in the snow, and they needed a present for Shrimataji welcoming her back. This is how much snow we had at that time. So this was the beginning of 2005, and
Wow.
it was yeah, they needed a present, and so Brigitte just said, well, she's working on this Hanuman. How about this? And, oh yeah, that would be great. And we never had no idea it would remain in the castle for maybe hundreds of years.
Yes,
It started
absolutely.
outside of our cottage here. Actually, we hadn't even built onto our house at that time. It was just a uninsulated cottage with no heating and no bathroom, and that's how we lived for 2 years. And
Oh,
in the beginning, when Brigitte first inherited it, so the Hanuman that photo was taken just outside in the snow here.
you're quite a tapasya there. And
Yeah,
yeah.
it was. Well, in a way, it wasn't because we had lived for I don't know a couple of decades in ashrams in different countries, and then we were in Vancouver. We thought we'd stay there, and then suddenly we got a phone call that a friend of her grandmother just passed away and left her everything. So suddenly we had a house and a huge property here in Austria, and we thought, no, they need us in Vancouver, so we thought we'd stay there, but we were going back and forth. And then eventually it became clear because we became involved in Cabella also that we
Which
were,
year is this then?
Well, we moved here in 2004, and then
Uh-huh.
this work in Cabella started 2007, so 3 years later. So it was obvious Shri Mataji was pulling us back because we had done whatever we had to do there, and we were coming back.
Yes.
And Brigitte was just actually, she just mentioned something this morning that because we just, even before, like in '88, she was working on things between '88 and the time we moved away, you could say about 10 years. She was working in our little kitchen. And when we went to India, we stayed in India in '91. I'll actually read you something from there. She was so amazed. We went to Jaipur and saw these people on the mud floor, just working, crouching,
Yeah.
looking quite dirty, making beautiful things, jewelry,
Yeah.
semi-precious stones, and after that, she had no problem working in a tiny kitchen. She would make these huge Ganeshas for countries like Taiwan and Moscow and different. They went all over the world. And so yeah, she was just mentioning this morning like this Hanuman she made here in the corner of the kitchen before we renovated the shed outside. And yeah, she would just work like that. She never thought anything about it. So
Well, yeah, for artists, it's the work that matters, isn't it? And then Shri does the rest. It's our kind of human expectations, probably more of our modern life where we need things,
yeah, yeah, exactly. We
you
need
know.
more. But she's actually 5 times Capricorn, so she's got this, and her horoscope is all Earth. So she just takes Earth and make things. And actually, this is another thing. This is right at the beginning when I first came. We got married, and then I moved from Vancouver.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned, she was working on the Puja crown for the Guru Puja. So
Yes.
this is a image of the crown in our little flat before Shrimataji even had it on her head. And another picture beside it is Brigitte. I'm not sure who caught this, but it's a nice photo of Brigitte. She was attending Shrimataji, so she went with Shrimataji from Austria to Munich. And in Munich, there was the Kartige Puja,
Yes. Which year is this? 1980,
86.
86. Okay, thank you.
So there's a crown from 4 weeks before, and then the Kartikeya Puja in Munich.
Wow.
So that's the crown in our little flat before it was used for the Guru Puja. And then a couple of weeks later in Munich, Germany, the Kartikeya Puja. So in the
Amazing.
beginning, it was, basically full on all the time.
Yes.
And we had wait. And we were so young, we were just living like, even in the ashrams, a lot of people were just students, and we just followed Mataji and did postering and got her cassette, her next talk. And here's a few years later,
Mm-hmm.
1992. This is the crown Brigitte made. It was Cabella 92 Ganesha Puja.
Wow. Cabella, 1992, Shri Ganesh Puja. Wow.
Yeah, so that was also made in our flat. We had a small flat in Vienna in the early days. And
Amazing.
this is another memory. Um, 85, 86 India tour. This is when we got married. In Brahmapuri, Shri Mataji was sitting in the river,
Wow.
and they just had a shawl over her head. So each person could come and bow in front of her and put the water on their head.
Hmm.
So these are photos that we took, that were just, like
Yeah,
unbelievable. Shri Adishakti was there and sitting in the river and all these things.
absolutely. God.
And I got a couple more. Here's from Shudy camps. So this one is Shri Mataji's bedroom before and after. Brigitte was working on the
Shri
cornicing.
Gans. Yeah.
She was doing cornicing the whole
And so
time.
this the picture at the bottom is before.
Yeah, that's before.
Yeah, so you can see this structure, and then that's a beautiful
Yeah,
bedroom with furniture and everything.
yeah. And at the
Very
same
nice.
time, I was working with John Watkinson in the tiling all the bathrooms. So this is a year later in '88, Easter Puja. Shimadaji, I took this picture of her coming up the stairs.
Wow.
In fact, wait a minute. Yeah, that would have been '88. Coming up at Easter Puja when
Where is this?
in Judy camps.
In Shudy Camps.
She's
Wow.
coming up the stairs there.
Yes.
And Actually, I think this is probably, I'm not sure if this is the moment, but I was standing on the landing there, and as Shri Mataji passed, she threw her shawl over her shoulder, and it sort of brushed my face. I thought, oh
Uh-huh.
my God, I wonder what millions of cosmos just cleared my, I
Wow.
don't know, whatever, balas or something I had.
Oh,
And yeah, back in 87, when we were there in Shudy camps, Shri Mataji came later to, we had so many ashrams in Austria. So one of the Vienna ashrams, Shri Mataji came, she was shopping nearby, and she came in and rested just for the afternoon. And here she let the some of us wash her feet. And
wow.
then they put perfume on her hand, and all of us sitting there was many of us outside the bedroom also. She said
Oh,
we should all smell our own hands, and we could smell the perfume on our hands that they had put on her hand.
wow. So I mean, to see Shri Mataji, such a nice informal Shri Ganesh Puja offering water at her holy lotus feet, and then she asked the yogis there to offer the perfume on her hands, and then all of you present there
Yeah,
smelled that
you smell
perfume
it.
that was on Shri Mataji's hands. Amazing. Ah, wow. If
I've
you
got
remember,
a, I just remembered I've got anyway, it's in a box here, a towel that was used for that occasion. It was our towel, is a pink towel with little elephants on it. And so Shri Mataji had done public program and then left. And then we had follow up. So I was really exhausted that day. Hadn't slept the night before. Everybody, the ashramites all went to the follow up program. And I just collapsed. I lay down beside the bed where exactly in that spot where Shri Mataji's feet had been. And I took the pink towel that they had used from our bedroom, and I put it on my chest, and I just fell asleep. I like blacked out. And when I woke up, this towel was lying on the bed, and I knew I was so deeply in sleep. There's no way I would have taken the towel, and I thought I had somehow broken protocol because it was within the 48 hours or whatever. And I wouldn't have laid on the bed. I laid on the floor, but the towel probably, because it had been used for, I wasn't allowed to use it for my own whatever. So somebody, I don't know if it was Sri Hanuman, took it off my chest and put it on the bed while I
oh,
was sleeping there. So here it is. You can see the nice little elephants on there.
oh yes,
So this is
beautiful.
the miracle towel that
That
moved
is
by itself onto the bed because I think I had
amazing.
taken it too soon. And yeah, here's another couple of things Brigitte made. Um, so at that Ekadesha Rudra Puja, there was not only her Ganesha, first Ganesha statue on the stage, but um, like the Guru Puja the 2 years before, she made I don't, maybe people recognize this crown. It's in the castle right now in Cabella.
Which year is this? Would you know?
88 Ekadesha Rudra Puja.
1988, 1988, Ekadesha
Yeah.
Rudra Puja. Yeah,
She made
wow.
several crowns, so this was another one of them.
What is it made of?
It's a sort of a synthetic, like a foil,
Uh-huh.
a hard foil
Okay.
that you can get in different colors. And then she put Swarovski crystal stones all over it.
Yes.
So
Beautiful.
that can be seen in the castle in one of
Amazing.
these, but and then it matched by chance. It matched her Mataji's sari because she had the same color sari on.
It's
Sometimes
it's
those things would happen.
it's incredible, isn't it? How Shamastraji just works out the color schemes.
I
How it
know.
works out.
And this is Sri Rama Puja. I can't remember the year. Brigitte had to paint a bow. She made these decorations on the bow that Shri held at the end of the puja.
Wow.
And we had an arrow with us. And someone had the idea that we had a fine pen that everybody could write a name of Sri Rama on the arrow. So they managed to fit, I don't know if they fit all 108 names, but the people were coming to our hotel room writing names of Sri Rama. And she's got it
Oh,
also in the photo of the end of the puja. And this was an interesting moment. This is also 87, end of 87. We we went like we just jump into cars and go somewhere like from Vienna to Paris or to so somebody had a big car and the five of us jumped in. Brigitte stayed home that time. Um, but then I got a surprise because we arrived in it was Barcelona first time, and Shri Mataji did a public program plus puja in a new ashram. They just made an ashram, and then so I was at the ashram, and suddenly Brigitte showed up. I said, "What? What happened?" She had some ceramic equipment that she managed to sell, and then she just booked a flight without. We didn't have cell phones then, so I didn't know.
Of course,
Suddenly
yes.
she was there in the Barcelona ashram. What? So there's
Oh,
a two moments with Shri Mataji. Brigitte is showing her some collective photos from somewhere,
yes.
and I'm
In
showing,
Barcelona
yeah, and
in
I'm
1987.
87.
Wow.
I'm showing her
What?
actually, it's the Austrian present. It's a
Yes.
mirror, and then
Ah,
we
yes.
just at this moment we saw in the back, oh, it's made in Spain. Like we wanted to give an Austrian present, and then everybody was laughing. Oh,
So an Austrian present made in Spain,
yeah,
in Spain, and presented to Shri Mataji in Barcelona.
yeah.
Amazing.
I think we had brought it from Austria, and then we found out.
Ah,
Yeah, this story I started last time, and you wanted to know more. Shri Mataji gave us these little placemats. This was at the airport in Calcutta in 1991. She was just sitting in the airport. There was hardly anybody there because the Rama Puja in Calcutta in it was March 87, sorry, 91. Hardly any Westerners were there. We were,
mm,
I think, four people or something.
yeah.
And there was very few Indians there also because Calcutta was quite new.
Yes.
And so at the airport, there was just a few people there around her, and she was handing out these nice placemats. And
Amazing.
then when it was our turn, uh,
Beautiful hand embroidered, isn't it?
yeah,
Cross stitch, it
it's
seems.
nice. Yeah. Shri Mataji, she asked Brigitte, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the back side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful cross stitch. Yeah.
Uh, asked Brigitte when we're flying back. Brigitte was pregnant, and Shri Mataji just sort of meditated for a few seconds. Okay. And then we found out that the day before, the British Airways had given all their seats in the world free. And we missed it by one day. But maybe by Shri Mataji's blessing, they extended it to the next day so when we were flying. So we
Was
also
it a
had,
special day?
yeah,
I
it was
mean, never
St.
heard of
George's Day, St. George's
St.
Day,
George's Day. Oh,
1987. So
wow.
1991. And so suddenly they gave us also. And the lady at the counter said, "You know, you're flying free with us today." We thought that was yesterday. She said, "It's been extended."
Amazing.
Mataji must have thought, oh, they're flying the next day. Oh, I'll make them extend it.
Yes, exactly.
And then
Oh.
because she was pregnant, it was one of these big Boeings, double-decker Boeing, and we got to sleep up in first class and have a whole row for Brigitte to lie on. And then the miracle extended because a few weeks later in Vienna, we got a letter, there was no emails then. We got a letter from the office of British Airways in Vienna that we hadn't received our present of St. George's Day free flight. So they gave us a check. So not only did we get the free flight, but we got a check for free money. So we were paid twice for that.
Amazing. So, I mean, it is so unbelievable even now in 25th July 2025, British Airways giving free flights, not just for one day, but extending it to the second day for St. George's to celebrate St. George. It's
Yeah.
actually the Adishakti's play, isn't it? And not only that, you get to fly first class, and of course, Brigitte is expecting and so nice, comfortable, and everything, but also that you get to have a check because the
Yeah.
British Airways said you get this present. I mean, oh, that's Jai Shri Mataji again and again, isn't it?
I know. We had a lot of, blessings around our son's birth because we had started a shop, and then, as I told you last time, Shri Mataji was uh, actually, made us start the shop and try to do an art business and everything. We are connected to India. Um, Actually, that time in Shudy camp. I told you last time in Shudy camps in '89, Shri Mataji called us there to give us 50 oil paintings to start an art business, and then she was giving presents to all the boys who were packing because she was moving to Protestant, and then we were downstairs, and somebody said you have to go up. Shri Mataji was. So she also gave us these watches. She was giving out watches.
Wow.
It was like on the landing, just at the top of the stairs before her bedroom. Everybody was packed around, and one girl was handing them out, and I think the girl handed Brigitte a blue one. She said, "I'll let her pick," and then Brigitte picked the pink, and she said, "Ah, I knew you'd pick the pink one." So she still has it. Doesn't work anymore, but
Wow,
uh,
beautiful.
so that's another item. This is something unusual. Inside of here is rice and kumkum from one of the welcome parties at the hangar in Cabella, because every year the Austrians do the Sahaja Day. So we had prepared. That was one of our jobs, was to prepare. We made little packets of rice and
Mm.
everything, measured to the right amount. So each time Shri Mataji came into the hangar, they would have the right amounts to put.
What's the right amount then?
Well, we just estimated, we just put little packages so it's easy. Just pour that out, pour that out, pour that out.
Oh, okay, so ready to
Because sometimes new yoginis do it and then they don't know. So we
yes.
made it as easy as possible. So
Yes.
anyway, this is the afterwards, like after it was put on her feet and then it was
Oh,
put into a napkin. So this is one of those times we got this from
which
the
year is
archie
this?
that had put on
Amazing.
her feet. So this is up in our cupboard here also.
Wow.
And also in our cupboard, we have a lot of these things from the wedding, Shri Mataji. This was actually used in the wedding ceremony. That was the first time in Ganapati Puli,
Mm.
85, 86 India tour. And this was used to put the ghee or the
Yeah.
water, I'm not sure which one. And then Shri Mataji was talking in the microphone, tell them that they should take their, whatever it's called, talis or things, from
Yeah, yeah.
the puja sets. And there was
Wow.
other things that actually, it's on I think I put a link also to it. It was a whole day. It was with Shri Mataji, and they've got it on YouTube. Starting in the morning on the beach, he came into the beach at 6 in the morning, and from there we went to the makeshift. It wasn't even really a pendle at that time. It was just some
Mm.
palm leaves and balloons they had put, palm leaf roof and some balloons. And then it's also in the video. She's giving out all the silver and the jewelry for the marriage later that day. So of course we have all that stuff, and I'll show you later. Also, we have shopping Shri Mataji did. She did so much shopping for ashrams and things, and then they were
Yes.
selling it in Cabella. And later, after she passed away, all this stuff from pots and pans to glasses and tea sets, and so we were lucky we got in there and bought a whole bunch of things.
Brilliant.
Made a special cupboard for.
Yeah.
So those are some of the other items that we got directly. I mean, not indirectly from Shri Mataji. And I'll just read you a couple of random excerpts. First of all, this is what you were interested in last time.
Yes, please.
The 92, because she had gone to Kurukshetra and Yamunanagar, and just a little booklet I was carrying around with me. I just
Amazing.
found it recently, and actually I made a separate video of this. That's on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
But I'll just read you the part. So this is on the 5th of April, 1992. It was a Sunday, and we were on the train from Dehradun to Lucknow. And I wrote, Shri Mataji has been very pleased by the programs north of Delhi in Haryana, especially in Yamunanagar. Every year there will be a program from now on and puja there. And the following year, 93, she did the tour. Actually, she says here that she started the tour and then it went down through central India and went for the first time to her birthplace.
Yes.
And
She was there on that tour.
huh?
Shankarji was there
Oh,
on that
really?
tour, I
Yeah,
guess.
Brigitte also went on the.
Yeah.
I met up at Chindwara, but she had started up in the north, and she has all these photos of the ladies on the beach at Yamunanagar and all these things.
Wow.
But yeah, so every year there will be a puja there. Next India tour should begin in Delhi, and then what I just told will go down, and Karnal, Dehradun, etc. to get a Patipuli. Shri Mataji is already vibrating everywhere by traveling by car or train. On this little, when I was there at that time, he was going around by train and car. In Yamunanagar, she said there's many tantrics and false gurus doing negative things to the people, and then this will be cleared. And then from Lucknow, I was in Lucknow. I think we actually stayed at Shri Mataji's house, and I can't remember now. But I used to have photos. It was a house that Shri Mataji built that she told the story
Yes,
about.
in
And,
the Shri Puja, yes.
and I thought I had taken photos, but I can't. I just remember the big balcony that came out like a ship's
Yes.
bow. And
Yeah.
at least I remember that we went through it. They took us there. Again, we were just a handful of Westerners. Um,
What a privilege to stay in that house, Edward, because
yeah.
it doesn't exist anymore. I was told recently, and yeah, we had the privilege to visit that house.
Mhm.
I think it must have been 2012, 13 even.
Wow.
And the people who bought that house, we knew a Sahaja Yogi who knew them, and so we had the privilege to go and visit it. And they showed us around, and the way Shri Mataji had designed it was so beautiful,
Mhm.
so cool, and the level of the kitchen and the washrooms. You could see the divine
Yeah.
design there, isn't it? And the neem trees that were there, the three neem trees.
Yeah.
So yeah, no,
And
it's
that story that she told about how cheaply she just made it like cooking a recipe.
yeah,
She
yeah.
bought all this and all that and all that and made it so it was really amazing to see that. In fact, I think I heard the story afterwards, after
Did
I'd
you?
been at the house. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
At the public program in Dehradun, Shri Mataji indicated that the foreigners were listening so attentively, even though they didn't understand what she was saying. And there were two English on this mini tour. I mean, it wasn't really a tour. We were just following Shri Mataji. And two American people. Otherwise, we were me, a guy named Martin, and three German yogis who just were traveling India and came to
Uh-huh.
Sahaja Yoga on this,
Wow.
following Shri Mataji there, and they're still in Sahaja Yoga there in Germany.
Amazing.
You see them in Cabella all the time. Oliver, Herbert, and Bernd. And there was Evelyn, Chris, and Pragya. And Shri Mataji was on the train. We're going from Dehradun to Lucknow. And there were two policemen joined us in our compartment. They had just got the realization at the train station in Dehradun, or sorry, in Hardwar, and they brought us chai and stuff. These policemen. And at the
Wow.
station in Lucknow, one was holding my hand, and as we watched Shri Mataji, and he gave me some chai again. Shri Mataji was very pleased with the very big but short reception in Hardwar, and promised to come next time. I don't know if she actually went to Hardwar again. And then I made a separate video of this a few months ago on YouTube about when I had a private audience with her because she had made us start this art business in Vienna.
Oh, nice.
And so I got to go upstairs it was the Hotep Hotel, basically it was brand new, the
Oh,
building.
the Kutub Ashram in yes, Shri
Yeah,
Mataji's apartments in Kutub Ashram. Yeah.
yeah. So I'd been waiting downstairs in the meditation room. Another girl, also an Indian girl, had been waiting. She went up. And then I thought, because I just had photos to show her about our shop in Vienna, I thought she'd like to see it. And then I thought I'd just give it to the leader and I go. And then suddenly somebody says, you can go up now. So it was the only time I ever was by myself going in front of Sri Mataji and telling her, I had to tell her things.
So
And
what did you talk about after showing the photos? What did Shri Mataji say?
oh yeah, I've got a couple of quotes here because these things I actually forgot until I found this a few months ago. I mean,
Uh,
I remembered the meeting and everything, but oh, yeah, she asked things like because we had things from other places she shopped at, like Czech Republic glass, and then
Yes.
porcelain statues from northern Italy, and Shri Mataji. So she asked where I got these beautiful. Oh, we got one here. So this is this style.
Oh, wow.
We went to this shop, and then in 1991, I think, we went there, and we told them we're coming from Shri Mataji. Oh, they're all these nice Italian ladies, you know. Oh, and then we bought all kinds of things for the shop. We were just doing random things. We didn't know how to really do a shop, but we were getting things from India, and we got these things from. And then she says, "Oh, where did you get the porcelain figure?" And I said, "From the factory north of Milan where you went shopping for Ganesha Puja." And she said, "Oh, I didn't see this one." I don't know
Oh,
which one that was, but she said, "It's
yeah.
beautiful." And then I said, "Yes, they have very beautiful things, Sri Mataji." And then she said, you also have things from Czechoslovakia?" And I said, "Yes, Sri Mataji, the vases and all the glass things." And then I held up a picture of our son, who was just a baby then.
Mm-hmm.
Or no. When she saw the picture, she smiled. And I said, "Yes, Sri Mataji, that's Lincoln."
Oh.
And she asked if Brigitte is happy now. I said, "Yes." She would always ask Brigitte if she's happy. Like one time in America in the 2000s, she saw her at an airport. And, "So are you happy?" That was before we moved back to Austria. So we were living in a bit of a difficult situation somewhere. And
Oh,
Mataji was obviously, asking. Brigitte was
mm.
anyway satisfied, whatever, especially meeting Shrimataji's. Of course, Shrimataji, But then it turned out, like, I don't know, a year and a half later, 2 years later, we had suddenly got this place. So anyway, I'm sure Shrimataji had all that in her attention.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then she talked, yeah, about some other things. There was a yogi, Indian yogi at the time from a rich family in Bihar that had a tea factory. And this boy had designed, this Yuvashakti had designed the packaging. She asked me if I liked the packaging of this tea, and I said, "Yes, very nice, Mataji." And, and,
Wow.
and then they're, yeah, talking about different things about importing and exporting. So that was, and as I mentioned in my other video, I just descended from heaven down to the meditation area again, walked out onto the hot, it wasn't even built up at the time. It was just dusty streets, a lot of trees. I don't know if those trees are still there. It was a forest beside her home there. And I was always so frustrated by the rickshaw drivers because they'd always lead you somewhere to make more money. And
Which is where is this?
the Kotab Hotel Ashram,
Yes,
Shimataji's home,
yes, yes,
I was
Gurgaon.
there, and I had to
Yeah.
go to Greater Kailash. I thought,
Oh,
you know
God.
what? I'm just going to walk because I was so blissed out. And I just
Yeah.
walked, and I don't know how long it took me, over an hour. And I just repeated the Ganesha Tarva Shisha in my head the whole time. And I just thought, I'm not getting into one of these rickshaws. It took me, I don't know, I think over an hour, and I walked all the way to Greater Kailash. And I was just totally blissed out.
God, it's not very close geographically, so you did well to reach
Yeah.
good Ganesha's.
Yeah, I mean,
Well done, yeah.
I knew the way was pretty simple down here, over there, and then
Yeah. Yes, to be fair, yeah, because then there were not so many constructions now, like it's all full of buildings and flyovers.
Hmm.
Then it was a bit more, there
It
was
was
more
very
nature around and
yeah, simple
everything.
and straightforward. Um,
Very good.
so I'm jumping around. Here's yeah, I've got all these different
Yes,
random things.
yes,
This one
nice.
was a letter. Sometimes I'd write a letter
Yeah.
to, in the late 80s, we were living in this ashram that I just showed you before, where Shri Mataji came, and there was, I think, 8 yogis in the whole world that were the first emailers in Sahaja Yoga, because
Great.
they worked for the same company, and they realized they could do intercomputer communication with each other. So they would write reports of, one was in Australia, uh, one in Austria, one in America, and they would just write things, full reports of what happened on Shri Mataji's visit. So what I would do is I would photocopy everything, like with the guy in Vienna would send me a copy. I'd go to a photocopy shop and I'd make copies of all this news for all the news centers in the world, like South Africa, Greece, Slovenia, and every month I sent out a thick package of all the latest, whatever it
Wow.
was, not just the emails, but some other things that we received, maybe puja presents or something, puja cards, and I would send that out. I did that for a couple of years, just sending out. And one lady told me, I think she was the one from Slovenia. She said, that kept me going. I was there on my own, and every month I look forward to this package. So this might have been one of the letters I wrote. I'm not sure. This is 1990, so this is a few months after Shri Mataji had given us the 50 oil paintings in Shudy camps.
Uh-huh.
And actually, the intention was to give Shri Mataji the money back because we had sold them to yogis. She told us at this point, she told us, no, use the money to buy more and create a proper business, with a shop, sell to non-yogis so they can get vibrated. So I'll just read you. This is a Brighton Easter Puja 1990. And I used to write things like this, like, oh my God. And I think I sent this copy back to Canada also. So we were arriving at this hotel in Brighton, a beautiful old English hotel overlooking a flower garden and a beach. And in the lobby, there was yogis sleeping in their sleeping bags. And the very concerned hotel manager told us that 200 were expected, but another 100 were coming. So they used a big one of their banquet halls to store all these yogis. And yeah, and then we were so many. And then by the time Shri Mataji arrived at noon, the whole place was filled with flowers and all our beaming smiles. And then there was a bit about the program. Of course, there was Indian musicians. Some of these events, the Nirmal Sangeet Sarita were there also. When they were in Europe, they were coming to, going wherever Shri Mataji was. And so they didn't even have a puja location yet. And then they finally found one, and in a sports center. And then there's this beautiful Easter puja. And it says here that the sun was a big orange ball just when the puja was starting. And then, yeah, Gita and I don't know, in the old days, sometimes you'd find yourself in a hotel and there'd be lines of shoes in the hallway. People were inside with Shri Mataji, or you just people sitting, meditating in the hallway. You knew where Shri Mataji's room was there. And so we were just meditating like that. And then the Austrians were allowed to go in, or they were in already. I think the leader, and then the leader came out and said we should come in. So suddenly we were in this room, with Shri Mataji sitting on a chair and all the flowers and decorations. And there was about 12 of us, I guess, in there. And we were talking to Shri Mataji, and yeah, she told us this thing about doing our business.
Hmm.
He was just eating breakfast.
Any advice that would be handy for people who are watching for doing business that she gave you?
Well, she basically just wanted to spread vibrations. So, and then a couple of years later, she brought all this terracotta, Ganges terracotta from this village in India. It ended up moving around in a container all over the place. Started in Switzerland, went to Belgium. And unfortunately, a lot of it, even in Austria, there was a big exhibition, ended up in storage in Cabella for a long time. And then those were also sold to yogis, like donation we could give for Sahaja Yoga. And we got a few pieces here from that. So basically, she just wanted to spread all this beauty. And that time in Shudy camps also, Brigitte brought her some porcelain. Uh, Brigitte worked for a year in this porcelain company, 200-year porcelain company in Austria, she had one design. It was a little simple design that she had to paint on all the porcelain. So this is all hand painted. This is
Oh,
actually a different company, but so Brigitte brought it, she made it a little vase or something
mm-hmm.
with little tiny roses. And so she gave it to Shrimataji, and Shrimataji was looking. They're so tiny, hand painted, but and Shrimataji said, just look at this, you just go thoughtless. So she used to love all these detailed, beautiful little.
Yeah, wow.
And so yeah, she was always trying to spread vibrations through the art. So that was another occasion, Brighton, 1990. So I got a couple other things here. I don't know which is earlier. Oh, this is earlier. This is on another little booklet.
Oh, wow.
This was so Ganapati Puli was the year after we got married. So this is 86, 87. And this was really magical. You know, it's like out of a C.S. Lewis book or something, you know, when he's describing the procession in heaven and the ladies there. And this is exactly what happened because we were in a gate, even the second year in Ganapati Puli wasn't so built up. They had made more of a stage, higher stage and more of a thing, but it was still mostly palm leaves and things. But we're all there listening to some Indian musicians, and Shri Mataji hadn't come yet. And then I think I had to go to the bathroom, and then I realized coming through the darkness far away, I could see little lights and hear some. Oh my gosh, Mataji's coming in a bullock cart. So I was the only one. Everybody was still in there, and they were coming closer and closer. First of all, I was standing like with my mouth open, I think, and some Indian man came up to me. I think it was Rajesh Shah's brother who takes photographs. He says, "What do you feel when you see her?" And I said, "Joy." He said, "It is written all over your face." So then I got closer and closer through the darkness, and I stood up on the side of just a mud road, you know, a dirt road. And then it was getting closer. And then two other guys ran up. It was Gregoire and Engelbert, and they were standing near me, and it was coming. Everybody else was still in the music program. And then one thing I forgot that I found in this little diary was that because yeah, I remembered her coming closer, and just bliss.
Absolutely.
But that she actually, you know, the palm trees are hanging off the bullock cart and this, and they're all dancing, and she's going, and then she looked over at me, like under the palm leaves, and I was just, you know, blown away. I thought, how can you? I mean, how many punyas you need from past lives to even get us that moment?
I just glance, yes. Go.
And yeah, so that was one of my high points in my life. But now we got. Oh, these are both 93. Yeah, I was lucky in 93. I went to the Russia tour, which went from Leningrad to Taliati
Uh-huh.
to Moscow. And then a few weeks later, went on the America tour, the
Oh, wow.
North America tour. So there's a couple of things here. This was summer 93. So it started, I even forgot that it started in St. Petersburg. I remembered, of course, Taliati, I think was the first year, 93, Taliati. And we had been there 4 years before when there was nothing in Russia. They didn't even have food in the restaurants hardly. And then we went back then and everything was built up because Perestroika had been going 4 years and there was all this commercialism and Mercedes and BMWs. And anyway, we were in St. Petersburg and there was some, and at that time in the beginning in 89, there was just a handful of yogis. There was hardly anybody. Now there was lots of yogis. I wrote somewhere that in Siberia, some guys started programs and created 1,000 yogis.
Wow.
And Taliati, there was just, I don't know how many, a couple of thousand people, and they're all just blissed out, you know, seeing Shri Mataji for the first time. But yeah, in Leningrad, they had flowers and fireworks, and Shri Mataji appeared in the doorway, and there was fireworks, and everybody was just feeling this bliss and love. Oh yeah, that's Nirmal Sangeet Sarita were also there, and they're always so jokey, you know, they're always joking and laughing all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, then we went to Taliati. Oh yeah, from Leningrad to Taliati, we flew with Shri Mataji. So that was like a huge thing. And somebody handed me um, the international Sahaja Yoga camera, film camera, and said,
Wow.
"Can you bring this to Russia?" And then the guy showed up late. He could only come to Moscow, so I had to sort of film things. So in Taliati, I was filming the program, public program, and at one point I remember it was in a small stadium. And at one point, Shri Mataji said she was giving the realization. She said, "Turn the camera around, show all the people." You know, they all had their hands up.
Oh.
Like,
Is this an Amrita? This particular?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is because I looked it up recently. And then, yeah, then in Moscow, the other guy took over, the official
Amazing.
yogi.
Uh-huh.
And in Moscow, it was an interesting experience because Mataji had done so much shopping, and then I was sort of known to be somebody who was good at organizing stuff. So a couple of leaders said, "Okay, I'd got to organize all this into hand luggage for 30 yogis to take to Europe." So when everybody went out on a field, sightseeing, I spent the whole day in a storage room in the university where everybody was sleeping, trying to get all this stuff into bags. The carpets I couldn't put in the bags. I thought people have to carry them under their arms onto the airplane, but I managed somehow. This was the second time I think I had to do that. In America, once I had to do it also. Spend a whole day trying to fit all this stuff into.
What did, what did Mataji shop in Russia? And then what did she shop in America that you then sort of arranged, organized to put in the hand luggage of the yogis?
I can't even remember. She would buy so many different things,
She wouldn't
like
she?
everything from
Handmade.
dinner sets, clothes. I remember there was some couple of carpets.
Yeah.
Uh, and in the end, it was a big miracle because actually somebody else wrote it in the memory books at the airport. Um, Bogdan was the leader then. He was like, he would tell each person, okay, wait, tension in saucer, okay, go. And then one person with three bags and a carpet, and then the next one, okay, tension here. And somehow the people
But
at the customs, they were just, I don't know, it was too much for them, or they were going thoughtless or something. And all the yogis were getting through, about 30 yogis with all this huge hand luggage. And
mm,
somehow we managed to get it all through. And yeah, so that was part of the huge experience. And it was so nice in Tagliati. These people were so, it was just a stage in a field near this famous river. And they just used a parachute over the stage. And afterwards, Shrimataji spent hours giving presents to all these simple men and ladies and children. And then they would come back and sit down in the grass, and then they would try to give it to us, the few Westerners who were saying, "No, we have enough." We had many things, and they wouldn't speak English, so then it
so
was so.
sweet.
I know they were so generous.
Oh wow.
And so this is an excerpt from America later. It was an interesting tour. Maybe I just read a couple because I wrote this in point form, sort of.
Mhm.
Um, oh, in New York, there was a Muslim sort of leader who had his own TV show, and he had a meeting with Shri Mataji, and he wanted to stop because it was time for for his prayers. And Shri Mataji said, "You can do your prayers to me." So he did.
Yeah.
He was
We
bowing
can
down
also
to
do
her.
namaz to Shri Mataji. Wow.
Yeah, and he was getting blasted. And Shri Mataji met the mayor of Yonkers at that time, Yonkers, New York, and with his family. And it was the first American politician that actually went to Shri Mataji and got her
Who's that
blessing.
again?
It was Yonkers, New York. It's a town in New York. And
Okay.
he came extra with his family to meet Shri Mataji.
Wow.
Um, yeah, actually, in the beginning, Shri Mataji had been ill-treated by the American immigration officers, but it was so nice in Canada because they were so friendly. But then after Canada, she went back to the States, and at that time they were friendly again. So luckily, because I guess they got their punyas back. And then, yeah, it was a really amazing. I told you last time about my experience in Vancouver,
Mm.
where she saw me after, and she sort of made me made my life by singling me out.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, at that time, the North American yogis hardly knew any bhajans. So this is 93. Bhajans had started in the 80s, Switzerland mainly, in the West. And but Phil Ward was there from Switzerland. So he was leading bhajans with his harmonium. And I had brought my bongo drums also, so I was also playing with him. And yeah, Sri Mataji cured one person there. Um, I mean, there's so many little things. Uh, there's always these little miracles and things that happen,
Yes.
like some timings, things that happen that normally wouldn't happen in time. Yeah, I didn't actually mark down anything here, but yeah, so those are a lot of material. Should I show you our cupboard where we have a whole bunch of stuff?
Yes, please. Yes, if you can, that'd be awesome.
Actually, I'll just show you first. Here's this is just a collage we have hanging in our bedroom.
Uh-huh.
Mataji. This is mainly our marriage in India. So you can see, and then later, a few months later, we had a ceremony in Austria. But
Yeah.
you can just see the various images.
Beautiful.
And then later, Shri Mataji was holding our baby
Mm.
when he was just 2 months old. And then he grew up, and then he was in India school for 7 years.
Oh,
These wonderful, all the parents have all these memories of,
yeah.
picking up the kids. And the best part, I would normally take him and then he'd be crying, but his mom would pick him up and they'd go on tour and have a nice time. And then maybe we'd meet at Ganapati Puri. So, I mean, most of these things are, these are
Wow.
part of the shopping that you did, that we were able to get by later in Cabella. They'd take donations and you could pick what
Yeah,
you wanted.
could buy that.
And there's some of the silver from, some of the silver from our wedding.
Mm.
And this is actually 2 pieces of clothing that Shri Mataji used. I think her daughter was giving them away in the castle. So there's a sari blouse underneath the shawl that Shri Mataji actually wore.
Wow.
So that's nice stuff. And then a few things, more silver from the wedding, and more of her shopping.
Amazing.
And some of her bangles. This was also given by her daughter. And then we have a cupboard in the kitchen here. There's a whole bunch of, this was also her shopping that we were able to get. There's a lot of, some of the sets were incomplete, so you could just buy individual plates. They had some missing pieces, but doesn't matter.
Do you just use them for vibrations, or do you use them when you have yogis? And
Yeah, these are for guests. Yeah,
these are for guests. So
yeah,
very
yeah.
nice.
We take them out when they're. And of course, as everybody has, Shri Mataji cooking in the kitchen.
Oh wow, lovely. Shri is making barfi.
Yeah, we are so lucky. And here's some new items that are going to Cabella soon. Little gathering of
Beautiful.
fresh baked out of the oven.
Oh, very nice.
So that's I also found we had, in the old days in India, especially, every single puja, you'd have like 2 pujas a week, and then you get the vibrated water. So we have still a lot of the vibrated waters. This is later. This is in the 90s in Cabella. But here's, these are the old ones. This is Guru Puja 89.
Wow, you've saved them.
And you can add water,
Yes, of course. That's the what would be called as mother tincture in homeopathy. But
This
yes,
is
that's the thing.
Vishnu Maya Puja in Wimbledon, 1985.
Wow.
That's an old one. And Mahalakshmi Puja looks like 84. I think that was in Belgium, I'm not sure. Rome, 1985. I think that was maybe, I can't remember what puja that was. Oh yeah, we have 85 in Sangli, a little village in Maharashtra.
Wow,
Mahalakshmi Puja. So yeah, it's another treasure.
So have you just kept those waters or used them from time to time?
Well, I think we haven't used them in many years.
Hmm.
We do have something in the fridge, sort of we have this which we use in the kitchen. It's just a mixture. So we just keep it at her altar in the kitchen and sometimes use it, or I think Brigitte uses it for all her cooking.
Yes, and also the sort of vibrated salt and vibrated sugar and
Yeah,
vibrated
yeah,
turmeric for
we have
cooking,
those
isn't it?
in a glass jar, and then sometimes we add it to the
Yeah.
bowl of salt or sugar.
Yes. Oh, that's fantastic. So, in all this time, Edward, what sort of, is there any kind of advice or any piece of wisdom that you could share with the yogis today and to come, in this Sahaj journey and being with Shri Mataji, in her attention and with her physically and talking to her or listening to her? What's the kind of advice you could share for the seekers now and to come?
Yeah, a lot of the young people I meet, because I'm in Cabella practically every puja, I meet people from all over the world, and then at some point I realized I'm meeting all these yogis and yoginis who never met Shri Mataji, who are just normal, full-on yogis. And then at some point in the conversation, it might come up, and I'm like, wow. Like I think one of the coordinators in Hungary, she's never met Shri Mataji, but she's like full on, and she's at the leader meetings and stuff, and just a very young lady. And so, yeah, I think it's in a way it's not necessary to have met Shri Mataji. In fact, some of the people who were always close to her, spent a lot of time with her, were really shattered because when she nobody expected she was leaving them.
Yeah,
So yeah, like I told somebody at our drop-in program in Vienna last year, she said, "Yeah, it must be somehow important that you had met her." I said, "No, actually, the most of the people I meet now are so clear, so
mm,
connected, And I think there's a lot of born realized people, even back in the 80s. Like
yes,
you said, there was a lot of born realized. I would be on a bus in Vancouver, and some little kid would look at me, and I'd feel vibrations of wow.
yeah,
I wonder if we'll ever meet again. And so Shri has this plan. In fact, I have the feeling sometimes she has like a battle strategy, and she's sending in waves of troops, like born realized. We have no idea how this strategy is going to work out, but I think at some point there'll be a sort of a click where everybody, it's obvious that you have to pick this. Look at these people, and and then it'll become easier because it'll be more black and white. As time goes on, things will get more black and white. And I was telling you before that in '85 I washed Shri Mataji. The one time in my 43 years I had the blessing of washing her foot in puja. And now, just this morning, I thought, from the point of view of the divine, that's basically the highest point in any
yes,
being's whole millions of years of evolution. And I should consider it as such, and I should keep it in my attention as my priority or the center of my whole evolution. And my whole universe, whatever expands from there, should expand from that point. I shouldn't just take it for granted. Yeah, I watched Mataji's foot once, It was the Adishakti incarnated. But
absolutely.
but I think as time goes by, I think the yogis also have this feeling that it's all going to go wrong again, like in the past incarnations and religions. And I think it's pretty fixed, as she said, that Sri Sadashiva is pleased, and you can't get rid of this paramchitanya. It's only growing, it's making everything more transparent, and it's
Yeah.
making people thoughtless and hopefully at some point doubtless. I think the only obstacle we have at this point is to become doubtless about ourselves. In fact, I just heard a talk which sort of confirmed that thought that I had, that she said you have to get this experience in yourself by using the divinity, then you realize you're divine, and then you can get more of her also. But as long as we have these blocks about ourselves or doubts about ourselves, we can't really get into the nirvikalpa. But as soon as we get our own nirvikalpa about ourselves, then we can have more fully, the connection to her also.
Yeah. And it helps to just be sort of regular with a time with Srimataji, meditating in the silence and
Yeah,
morning and evening, and also listening to her talks and trying to imbibe, isn't it? That's another way we feel really sort of connected and close.
yeah. Whenever we're driving, we always have Shri talk on. You pick up on all these things because the further you go, the more clear you get, and then things become significant because some things aren't significant when you're lost in certain things and you're
Yeah.
blocked and you can't really use them at the time.
Yes.
And later you hear the same talk and wow, yeah,
There's nothing
exactly.
Yes.
Now I get it.
Oh, oh, fantastic. Fantastic. It has really been such a pleasure talking to you, Edward, and thank you for taking your time to share your absolutely incredible times with Shri Mataji that you and Brigade had have had the privilege to. So thank you for sharing all these beautiful presents, the diary notes that Shri Mataji asked for us to write, because they will be sought after in the future, isn't it, about how it was being with Shri Mataji and taking us from one continent, one country to the other, from Canada, America to Russia to India and to England and Spain and beyond. Being with Shri Mataji.
One seamless world.
Yes, yes, all one
As
place.
soon as you go to Sasfar, it's all seamless.
This is it. This is it. Oh, very kind of you. Thank you so much. And I love and regards to Brigade and to you and to the family. Jai
Just
Shri.
out there in her workshop, just doing your work at the moment.
Oh,
She's a
beautiful.
bit shy about doing interviews, otherwise she'd be here.
That's nice. It's a beautiful background there behind you. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thanks for
thanks a
sharing.
lot. Jai Shri
Jai Shri
Mataji.
Mataji. Jai Shri Mataji.
Bye-bye.